Right. Well, Gerry, thank you so much for being on this webinar off the Charts Catering. I'm so excited to have you. And just to share with everyone a little bit about you and your background, I know you've worked for multiple billion-dollar brands. So, kind of fill us in on what your background is and how you have knowledge of the restaurant industry.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. So I started my career working at Procter and Gamble, where a lot of people start out in marketing, and then I made my way out to Denver and became the brand manager of Coors Light. And after that, I discovered the restaurant industry, fell in love with the industry, and have done a lot of work in restaurants. I started out my career at Quiznos, became the vice
Mm.
president of marketing there, and then was the VP of marketing for Red Robin Gourmet Burgers. And what I learned as I was climbing the ladder in all of those big companies is that all companies, whether you're a tiny little startup business, a small one location restaurant, or if you're a $1 billion brand like the ones that I worked on, you can use a lot of the same strategies to be
Mhm.
successful regardless of your budget. So when I left corporate America, I created a company called What Big Brands Know that is designed to teach businesses of all sizes the strategies that big guys use. So everybody, including the one-off independents
Yeah.
and the 5 unit and the 10 unit and the 100 unit restaurants, can compete with the big guys. So that's what I do now. I distill the learning into things that are only the stuff that works and not the stuff that we all sometimes get wrapped up in that isn't focused on growing the business with our customers.
Hmm. That's so interesting that you say a lot of the things that the big brands do, the little guys can do too, and compete in that same arena. So let's talk. This is all about catering. So I'm just going to ask you the one burning question. So if you were a restaurant operator right now and you just wanted to go out there and crush it with catering sales, what's the one big thing you would definitely do right away?
Well, it's a great question, and here's the thing with catering. Catering is like running a business within a business.
Hmm.
And so within catering, you have all of the same components that you have in any other business. And of course, the great thing about it that we all realize is that you can use your same restaurant asset to create another whole stream of income that you
Hmm.
create outside of what you do in your normal day to day restaurant operations where customers are coming in. So the first piece of any great business is building relationships with your customers, right?
Right.
Now, there's complicated and fancy ways to do this, but I tend to like things that are really simple.
As
and
most restaurant operators do too.
yeah,
So
and
perfect.
and turns out the simple things work. So if you think of the first phase of building a catering business is simply building relationships with people, you say, okay, well, who are the people that are relatively close to me that want catering?
Hmm.
And many of those people are probably coming in your restaurant already. Whether you're a sandwich shop or if you're a sit down place, it doesn't really matter. The first thing I would do is identify a person who's going to be your catering relationship builder. Now, that might be the owner of the restaurant, or it might be someone you hire from a local college who's got a great personality and loves people and loves interacting and has an easy rapport with people. Or you might go all out and find a person who actually
Hmm.
knows how to build a catering business. Any of
Sure.
those could work. And what the person does is hangs out in your restaurant at your busiest time for many restaurants, especially near business areas. It can be lunch. Hang out during lunch, greet people, do table touches, kind of look at the people, look for key signs like, are they wearing a name badge from a big company?
Hmm.
And track down and so try to build relationships with the people that might actually bring in lunch to their office, let's say. And then when you talk to a person and they say, hey, do you guys ever bring in lunch to your office? And they say, oh yeah, we bring in lunch all the time.
Right.
You already know that they like your food.
Hmm.
You already know that they're coming in and that they bring in lunch. All of a sudden, you've got a hot prospect, right? So
Right.
then the person just says, oh, well, who's in charge of that? Oh, it's Susie Lou. Always brings in lunch. She does it. Oh, now you know the name of the company and who the contact is. And sometimes they'll even just give you her name and number because if you ask them, would you like to have our food for lunch instead of whatever you've been having? And they'll say, oh, I'm so sick of fill in the blank, whatever we have every
Hmm.
day,
Right.
every week.
Right.
So now you get a hold of the person. And we've had situations when I've done this exact thing where we had someone from Fidelity walk in to the restaurant wearing a Fidelity name badge, asked them, hey, do you guys ever bring in lunch? Oh, yeah, we do. Here's the person. Call the person. And she says, oh, there's a whole bunch of people like me. All the admins bring in lunch. There's like 30 of us.
Oh,
We said,
wow.
oh, that's really interesting. Would you like us to come and do a lunch and learn about how to have great catering lunches? Now, this is important because the whole success criteria for an admin bringing in lunch is that the people like the food, it shows up on time, and you make them look good. So anything that you can do to help them accomplish those things, they love. So we went in and did a lunch and learn for 30 admins and immediately started getting orders that day for
Wow.
food, and that became a long-term customer. So that person can generate those orders right from your restaurant. Then the key is deliver it on time, well, make great food. And then the final thing that is the most important thing that a lot of restaurant owners don't do is follow up. So once you know Susie
Yeah.
Lou and all of her counterparts and you've delivered great food, you should follow up that afternoon and say, how did it go? What did you like? What didn't you like? What can we do better? And then follow up a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or a
Mm-hmm.
month from now,
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, are you having another meeting? Would you like to have us back? And they'll say, oh, yeah, we really enjoyed that. That was really great. We'd love to have you back. And you can go from having a conversation in your restaurant to building a long-term lifetime value relationship where you may get an order once a month, once every 2 months, and all of a sudden you can grow and grow and grow that business from doing some simple basics that anyone can do in any restaurant. And you just have to decide, at what level do you want to attack? Do you want to do it yourself? Do you want to
Mm-hmm.
hire someone that's fully commissioned? Or do you want to just go and outright pay a high-end catering manager? Any of those can work. You got to build the right model for you.
That's so interesting. And what I love about that is anyone can do that right now. Just go stand and during your busy lunch hour and uh, do what I would call profiling and look for people with name badges or the polo shirts with the logos. I think that's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
a
and
really great strategy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that's a really great strategy, and I think you really did hit on something important of make that person look really good. And I love that. It's customer service at its best, and just making them look good will definitely build the relationship between the restaurant and the catering manager, or I
Yeah,
mean the administrative assistant.
that's right. And the other
Mhm.
great thing about that is if you're in your restaurant or someone who's bubbly and nice and friendly is in your restaurant talking to people,
Mhm.
your customer service is going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
people love to feel like they're in an environment where people care about them. And so it accomplishes two things. It makes your restaurant better day in and day out during your busy period, and it generates high value leads.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, if there's a restaurant operator listening right now and they want to learn more about what you do specifically for restaurants, how can they find out?
Just go to my website. My website is called whatbigbrandsknow.com. And go to whatbigbrandsknow.com. If you go there, you can actually download the first section of my business blueprint
Mm,
for free. And my business blueprint is written as if I come into your business and I'm helping you one on one. I wrote it so that the experience of reading it and using the actual workbook would be the same as if I was right there with you. So if you want to know more about what I do and how I help restaurants, just go to my website and get some free stuff.
that's perfect. Thanks for that. Thanks for the call and the strategy, Jerry. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
Thank you.